You, that's great. That's a great question. Yeah, definitely. Not easy to prepare for. Have done that a few times in the past, but just an exceptional player. You know what I mean? As good as there has ever been, I think, at the position. Super talented, super smart, tough guy. So it's a lot of work preparing for him. That's probably the best way to say it.
How much strain can he put on a defense? I mean, he can get outside the pocket and then throw it. 100 yards down the field.
Yeah. I mean, he has every attribute. Is top tier. So he can put a ton of strain on you. Obviously everybody has to do a great job plastering down the field because he just kind of kept so many plays alive in his career and been able, like you said, to get the ball down the field. But not only that, he really does a great job of throwing on time. The rhythm pass game is as good as there is in the league too. So he's just, you can't say enough good things about him because he really is an incredible player.
What's been the key for you guys' red zone defense during the league?
Yeah, I think really the guys, their communication, their ability to settle down and, just keep playing through the rhythm of the down, knowing that understanding where you are on the field. And in some ways it can be advantage defense, in terms of the field being oftentimes 3 times as wide as it is long. Just understanding how to play, what type of routes you're going to get, and anchoring down in the run game was something I thought we did a good job of last week in San Fran, especially early. They did a good job in their opening script and moved the ball down the field, and the guys really locked in and did a good job on our 3 red zone snaps down there.
Jack Kaiser and Lane stepping in last week.
Yeah.
How impressed were you by just their readiness for that moment?
Yeah, I was very impressed by both of those guys because, football's a game like that, as you know. Your number may get called, and you're up there, you're ready to go, and they were prepared. Credit to them, and then really a credit to their coaches. Like Anthony Perkins, I think, has done a great job with Ray laying up to this point, and then same thing with Tim Lugo, who's done a great job with Jack Kaiser all throughout the spring, summer, and everything. Jack's been ready to go. So.
Where does Travis Hunter need to improve at?
I think, like everybody, I was just having this conversation with our guys. We just need to be more detailed as a whole defensively, and I think that's something you would say. I probably would say that every season I've been coaching, and I think most coaches would say that. But that's really it. I could say that about us as a unit, and you're working through that. I talked about this in the past too, how it's a long season, and every week you're kind of finding out what you do well, and you start to gravitate towards those things that your players do well. And I think that there's a bunch for all of us to improve on.
Mahomes is running the ball a lot more this year than he has in the past at some time. So does that change kind of the equation with how you prepare for him this year?
Yeah, I feel like he's always been pretty active as a runner. I know he is running the ball a little bit more, but in past games, he's done a good job of that against us. When I was in Miami, we played him a bunch of times, and I thought he always did a good job keeping plays alive and, trying to get through the middle of the defense or getting an escape hatch in the, in the pass rush, finding a way out of there. So it really does add another difficult element to a defense, for sure.
The speed as well that they have at the receiver core this year with Xavier Worthy back, is that a different challenge than maybe you've faced so far? Yeah, I think he's got elite speed. He's a special player as well. Really, I think he's a good route runner, and I know he got banged up early in the year, so he adds a whole other dimension to them, when he came back. And he obviously makes it difficult. Years back when they had Tyreek Hill, another guy that could really go, he kind of brings that element to their offense.
You guys lead the league in takeaways. How much do you credit that to the intentionality out on the practice field? Like, if you watch, every position group is focusing on punching, focusing on getting the ball out. How much do you credit that?
I credit the players and the coaches with that because it's something that the players take very seriously. And even just culturally in the room, that's something that they want to be about, and they put a lot of emphasis and effort into that every day. I talked about that when I first got here, that we want every drill to end with a tackle or a takeaway, or else by definition we don't feel like there's a finish to the drill. It's not a good enough drill. So they've spent a lot of time emphasizing entry level on the tackles, finishing on the tackles, leg drive, same foot, same shoulder mechanics, all that stuff. And then when we're not doing that, there should be a violent finish to the play. Whether that's, ball in the air as a defensive back or back seven guy competing in the pass game or attacking the ball at the end of a run or catch. Yeah, that's something I would credit the players wholeheartedly with that.
If Trayvon can't go, how do you replace what you get from him on the field?
We expect Trey to, he's a tough kid, so if he's available, I know he'll do everything he can to play. But, like we did the other day, the guys that went in there I thought did a good job, and didn't let go of the rope, and they produced for us. So that whole room is that's a great room, and we feel like we got a bunch of good guys in there, and they did a good job stepping up for him last week when he had to exit the game. So.
What did you see in Devin that maybe others didn't?
I don't know so much what I saw. I just think that he is a great fit for what we do. To me, he's just like he's a true three-down linebacker. There's just not that many three-down linebackers in football. And some guys are three-down linebackers in a certain way, and some are three-down linebackers in another way, meaning that some guys may be out there and, hey, they do a bunch of stuff in the coverage. They're kind of a lighter guy, and they're off the ball all the time. But, he's a guy, I've said this about him in the past, is that he has a very unique skill set in that he could play on the edge, early down. If you lined him up, outside as an open 5 technique on a tackle or a 9 technique on a tight end, he can do a really good job there, setting the edge, zone dropping, all that stuff. He can play off the ball early down because he sees it pretty good. He can run and hit. He does a good job in the pass coverage. And then if you want to use him as a pass rusher, he has the ability to do that. So I don't think there's that many guys that have that unique skill set where they're a three-down guy. Like I said, he's able to cover. He's able to rush, blitz, and he's able to set the edge, early down, play off the ball. So that's a multiple skill set. And I've said that in the past here too, is that that's what we really value in players, and he definitely has that. And he's worked so hard, that guy. Just everything that he does fundamentally every day is showing up in the games, and he really has done a great job building up a lot of that in his skill set over the course of the last few months.
How much harder will it be for Josh if Trayvon's not able to go? Do you expect the Chiefs to kind of concentrate on him?
Yeah, I think Josh gets a lot of attention every week. He's used to that if that does happen. And he's done a great job for us because he's really been relentless in the rush, and he's done a great job in the run game. So I think he kind of just goes about everything as business as usual, and I think he'll give us great effort there on Monday too.
You mentioned cleaning up some of the details of this defense that maybe have been messed up at times
Sure.
during the first couple of weeks. The production's been there. It's looked good. How much, room for growth is there still in this group?
I think there's a ton of room for growth with us. I think the players feel that too. There's stuff there that can be better. We can be more detailed. As a coach in my position, I can be better, and that's all we're all fixated on that every day. Just how can we be better? How can we get it better today, from now to the end of the season? That's the goal. And as a coach, that's basically how you're evaluated. How much can your players improve in comparison to the competition over the course of the season? That's how we should be evaluated, and that's how we're trying to approach it.
How do you evaluate the play of the outside cornerbacks so far this year specifically?
Yeah, I think they've been super competitive on everything. They made some great plays for us. I think Tyson has made some great plays for us down the field. Some of those plays are – I say this all the time in our room that, there's 5 or 6 plays in every game, right, that are going to dictate the outcome of the game in the pass game. Because there's going to be 2 guys at the point of attack 5 or 6 times in a game, right? And who wins those one-on-one matchups, those 50-50 balls, or who violently finishes at the point of attack, whether they're going to snatch the ball out of the air as a receiver or us violently finishing, separating the man from the football, that's going to dictate the outcome of the game. And I think our guys have been really, really competitive with that. Have we won every one of them? No. But we're working to do that every day, and I think they're giving us great effort that way. I think Jordan's done a great job with that as well. And, good to have Monteric back. I think he's a great competitor too. Travis has given us some great reps that way, and Jarian. So, really pleased with all those guys to this point.
Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate you.
That was the ribbon cutting? Sounds like I missed a big event.
Come on, man. We'll take you over and show you this grand staircase.
I feel like you guys got it covered. I don't know if I need to go over there. All right.
Monday Night Football, how big of a stage is this, for this offense and the team to kind of be on?
I think you approach it the same way you approach every week. The environment will be different. Hopefully it's a phenomenal environment, great opportunity for our fans to see us in Monday night, prime time. So hopefully we get to experience that and the guys feel that. But really the way you approach it is just like every other game. You kind of have to have that same process-oriented mindset where you're taking every day as its own day, every week as its own week. And if you treat this game any different than the previous couple of games or the future couple of games, then that's really not doing justice to the games that we play at 1 o'clock on, at home, away, on the road, on all those different time slots. So we approach it the same way. It's another game for us in that mindset, but we're obviously excited to see the environment and the fans.
4 games in, Trevor Lawrence has 4 regular season games and this new offense under his belt. What sort of track do you feel like he's on? Is he ahead of schedule where you kind of wanted him to be, kind of right where he needs to be?
Sometimes putting it on a schedule or a definitive schedule is tough because there's so much gray and there's so many conditional things that happen out there on the field or the guys he's playing with, or certain things will happen on certain plays that you don't anticipate or that you don't prepare for exactly in that situation. And there's so many different ways you can handle all those different situations. So you don't necessarily have a schedule saying he has to be here with this exact number of yards or this exact number of completions by this week, and then by the next week it has to be that. But I think you see the progress from an overall perspective when you kind of zoom out and see where we started in the spring, where he was in training camp and where he is. You see bits of progress show up. It's not going to be linear where everything's going to be perfect in a straight line going from where we started to what we're going to. There's going to be ups and downs. He knows that. We know that. But you see the progress show up in bits and pieces. The goal is to continue to build on that progress, and hopefully January, February, we're saying the same thing about where we are there relative to now that we say now relative to the spring. So if we continue to keep building the way we're building, I'm confident that that improvement will continue to come.
Third and short, it's probably less than average right now for you guys. What has sort of been, why have defenses made it so tough for you to run on third and 1 to 3?
There's been a number of different things kind of similar to we talk about evaluating the quarterback. Each one of those is its own instance, and each one of those kind of has its own breakdown. So you go back and evaluate the whole picture. What are we doing holistically that we can improve on as an offensive unit? And then how does each play break down? And when you look at it, each one kind of fails for its own unique reason. Now, we still have to address what's the best way of mitigating those risks and preventing that from happening overall, because we know we would like to be at a much higher percentage on those down and distances. But I think the variation of fronts and the variations of coverages and pressures that we've seen is something that we need to do a better job of handling and building a plan to put guys in a better place to attack those different variations. I think the combination of that, having cleaner plans for those things, and the guys having some more experience in those situations where there are looks you might not see or more challenging looks or something that doesn't show up the entire game except for that one play, they're more prepared and they can handle that better moving forward.
Liam said it takes a village to kind of prepare for Chris Jones. Just what kind of challenge does he present, just considering his versatility? He might be inside, might be outside.
I would echo Liam's exact thoughts. The fact that he can line up inside, outside, he can rush with a variety of moves, speed, power, get to the quarterback in a bunch of different ways, affect the run game in a bunch of different ways, makes it challenging as coaches, but it also puts stress on the players that they have to identify him, know where he's at, know the different techniques and moves and different change-ups that he has and how they want to approach blocking him or approach attacking him. So it's an every single time he's on the field type thing where you have to be aware of where he is and what your plan is for him. Whether it's red zone, open field, third down, it's every single down.
And seeing Chuma and Cole step in last week, the offensive line, kind of stake the course, how much confidence did that give you just seeing in actuality the depth kind of play out?
I would say it confirmed the confidence. It's something we probably saw in training camp a little bit that we talked about with those groups. There was a lot of questions on why the lineup is changing so much and why guys are playing at different spots, why guys are going with the ones, why guys are going with the twos. And it was really for that instance. We referenced that it's very rare for an offensive line, the same 5 guys, to play the entire year in the exact positions that they started the game and finished the season in those exact positions. So you saw that come to life in that San Fran game, and that was a little bit of the fruits of those guys' labor and their flexibility and versatility to play guard, play tackle, play some tight end at different times, rotate in at different positions. So it's a testament to their work and all the work they've put in, really not just in the week preparing for the game, but the whole training camp, spring, everything leading up to that.
You're going through the process of figuring out what you want to do with Travis Hunter every week. Do you find yourself going, we've given him too much, and then maybe other moments going, we haven't given him enough, or we haven't used him enough, or we want to use him more, or maybe we should use him less? Does that go through your head?
It's certainly like anything in the game plan where you're evaluating it. Every single week you're evaluating it, and then even during the week you're evaluating it as you're building the game plan. There's absolutely a push and pull of saying what's too much, what's enough, because we want to try to maximize and at the same time optimize his time on the field. We know there's a lot being asked of him mentally and physically with offense, defense. So we want to try to keep things as efficient as possible while still capitalizing on those talents. You see it on that third down, and you see it in different situations when he gets catch and run. So we're always exploring what's the best way we can find, what's the best way we can get him on the field and let him go play fast, go play free without detracting from all the other things he has to do.
When you look at a lot of the holding calls offensively, do you feel like that's an issue right now, or it's more of just kind of circumstantial or fluky so far?
I don't think we can ever approach anything like that as circumstantial or fluky just from our mindset. We have to stick with that mindset of controlling what we can control and what's the way that we can improve the situation. So how can we improve it? We can improve it by trying to be better with our technique, our fundamentals, maybe as coaches putting the guys in better positions and doing a better job of teaching and emphasizing those techniques and fundamentals so those holds and all of those penalties really don't show up. So we have to approach it really with how can we improve that as opposed to brushing it off as fluke, even if something were to be a one-off here or there. We try to take accountability for all that stuff that happens on the field and always evaluate what's a way we can improve it, what's a way we can find a way to fix those issues.
What did you miss most about not having Diami, and what does he give you guys?
Diami provides a lot in terms of run game and pass game. I think his toughness and his effort shows up in the run game that you might not always see on TV, but from the sideline or from a coach's perspective, you see him doing a lot of work, inserting on blocks, digging out safeties, blocking corners. Sometimes he ends up on a linebacker every now and then. His toughness is felt in the run game. And it's felt when another guy's getting a catch and he's transitioning the block, you'll see someone else take a catch and run down the field and he's down there blocking for the guy. And we love that effort. That effort is infectious for the entire team, the entire offense, really. So you see that in the run game. Then you see in the pass game his ability to run really a wide variety of routes when he's outside, he's lined up inside. He's another guy that over the course of time, as he become more and more comfortable with the offense, has really improved his versatility to run a bigger route tree, get the ball in hand that he's done in previous years, but adding that layer gets him each kind of level of the field where he's been deep, he's been short ball in hand, and now he's got the intermediate layer over the middle, outbreakers. So that continued growth has been encouraging. And when we have him out there, I think the guys feel that energy that he brings.
Hey, Grant, when you're watching a play from the sideline at the game, the ball is snapped, do you watch the ball, or is your responsibility you want to watch the front, the coverage?
It can depend on play a little bit based on what we're doing, but most of the time I'm watching essentially through the defense into the offense. If you've practiced that play all week and you've gone through it, you know where guys are supposed to be lined up, you know what they're supposed to be doing, you know who they're supposed to be blocking or what routes they're supposed to be running. So assuming that they're in the right position at the right time and we get that executed correctly, you know what that's going to look like from our 11 standpoint. So you're really trying to see how's the defense reacting to what our 11 are doing. Awesome. Thanks, guys.